will I ever learn? I mean, seriously, you know, there's that sort of saying that you don't judge a book by its cover, you don't judge a sneaker by its thumbnail, and this right here is the thumbnail that goes with the Nike Air Jordan 3 Japanese Denim, or whatever they're calling it. That we'll get into this video, we'll talk about the other names for the shoe. But for me, you know, I'm doing these daily drops every single day on YouTube for the last almost 600 days, non-stop, consecutive 600 days of content. So when I'm looking for shoes to talk about, looking for sneakers, there's an awful lot out there, and some of them, you know, I just discard really quick and say not interested. And this, to be honest, was one of them. Now, I do really dig the Air Jordan 3s, and to be honest, it wasn't my favorite shoe when I first got into sneakers, but gradually over time it's really caught up to me, and I am actually really a big fan of them. We'll get into that in today's video as well. But even with that being said, I still saw these guys and I just thought, nah, there's nothing special about that. Skip right on past it and look at like the Air Jordan 1 metallic greys that are coming out real soon, which is a very Japanese sneaker. Or we've done the Vapor Max the 2020 Vapor Max, 2 of them in the last couple of weeks, the Grateful Dead, Dunk Lows, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff out there, so of course I can't do every single shoe, and this particular one I was like, nah, not interested because of the thumbnail. It's just an average looking shoe. But then it was Sole Supplier I was looking at, and it called it the Japanese Denim. I thought, why are they calling that Japanese Denim? Is this a Japanese shoe? I should look into that. Looked into it and was like, whoa, there's a whole lot going on with this shoe that I really need to get into, and I'm going to do that right now with you guys. So today we'll be looking at the different names for this shoe, we'll be looking at some of the detailing on this shoe and deciding whether or not it's a plus or a minus, and then having a look at some of the features on it that really kind of I missed out on, didn't catch, but glad I looked at a second chance and got a second chance to look at it with you guys today. So without further ado, let's get into the Nike Air Jordan 3 Japanese Denim. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel, Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel des.毎日アップするので毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, it's the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 3 Japanese Denim, or whatever it's called. And it's, you know, like I said at the start of this video, it's a shoe that almost passed me by, but then I did a full-on U-turn, came right back in, had a look at it. And I was saying earlier about how I've grown to love the 3s, and I talk about this shoe an awful lot when I talk about the 3s. This is the red cement that dropped earlier this year, and I said I did a live unboxing of these guys actually, and I said in the video that I'm never going to wear that shoe. I love it so much. I think it's a beautiful shoe, and you'll be able to see from the tread on the bottom of this guy right there that these guys have never been worn, which is more the shame. A beautiful shoe should be worn, and I'll get around to wearing it someday, I'm sure, but I do so love this shoe. And like I said, 3s, first for me is 4s, and then 12s, and 3s have come up sort of a bit sort of under the radar. Now it's a shoe that I really dig and really like, and I think it's a really high quality shoe, so I'm glad to be getting into those. And then I'm glad to be bringing you this shoe today. And like I said though, even though I love 3s, I wasn't going to do this video, but then I dug into the shoe, found out a lot more about it. So what are they calling it? I've heard 3 different names so far. One is, as it says in the title of this video, is the Jordan 3 Japanese Denim. Now that's kind of important because it does have denim on there, and we'll get into that denim effect on there and why I don't actually like it later in this video. But the thing about that is that many people don't maybe know this because America is sort of synonymous with denim. But really right now, to be honest, Japan is kind of the denim capital of the world, especially when it comes to premium denim. A lot of the Japanese brands out there are really, really well respected. So when you're going to put denim on a shoe, it does make sense for it to be Japanese, even though really what you're talking about is like the gold rush years in the mid 1800s in America, when denim was really coming on strong in the world. But now, to be honest, more or less, especially those premium ones, it's more Japanese brands than anything else. So it does make sense to call this guy the Jordan 3 Japanese Denim. But we have also seen it, of course, being named just a straight up denim. Makes sense again because you've got that denim down below. So there are a lot of different ways to look at it, but then there's ones without denim. I've seen sites that are just calling it fire red, which doesn't really make much sense to me, even though it's very close to the original fire reds. Now these here, I think I might have called the video for these the fire red, but really it's the red cement. I think these guys get called more than anything else, but it is such a beautiful shoe. But yeah, the ones we're talking about today sometimes get called the Fire Reds because they're very similar to, I think, the 2013 Fire Reds especially. So, and we'll get into some of those details on the shoe as well today. But first and foremost, the two signature parts of the shoe. We've already talked about the possible names for this guy, and now I want to talk about the two signature parts, and then we'll look at the remaining details on the shoe. So first and foremost, the biggest detail on the shoe. I've never seen it. I haven't seen it yet. None of us have seen it as far as I know. If you know how to find this detail out there, I would absolutely love it, because what we're talking about is this right here. There's the heel to these guys, and if you're new to Air Jordan 3s, that's what an Air Jordan 3 heel often looks like, and it's a sort of rounded effect, and if it's got that Nike Air branding in there, it's a big deal. Now, usually, like, people are split, but I would say it's maybe 60-40 as far as sneakerheads go, that sneakerheads prefer their shoes to have the Nike Air, their Jordan shoes to have Nike Air on the back, rather than a Jumpman on the back here. I do not like what they've done with this shoe. Right here, what you're looking at is a transparent, it's not even translucent, it's transparent, and what you've got is behind the transparent panel, you've got the Nike Air, but on the transparent panel, and I hope I'm being able to show you this somehow because it's so transparent it's actually hard to see, but the mold on the transparent panel is actually a Jumpman. So they've hedged their bets. They're sitting on the fence and saying it looks like Nike Air, but it's actually got a Jumpman, so everybody will be happy. Nobody will be happy. I don't think people appreciate it when people sit on the fence and don't go one way or the other. They prefer it when you just sort of put your lot in and say this is Nike Air, or put your lot in and say this is Jumpman. But when you split it, the difference like they've done with this guy here, I think most people out there are not going to appreciate that. However, maybe you don't know this, maybe you do. I only found out about it today, and it's another one of the reasons why I made this video. But this right here, ding, that right there is how you say Nike Air in Japanese. That's how you would write it. It actually says Nike Air to read it correctly. Apparently, there's going to be a special Japan-only drop that has that Nike Air on the back of it instead of the English alphabet N-I-K-E and then A-I-R underneath that. If that is true and it does come to pass, holy smokes, I'll be all over these things like white on rice. Seriously, absolutely. Even though I'm not a fan of this Jumpman Nike Air sort of mashup deal going on there, if they put Japanese Nike Air on the back of a shoe, I'm buying it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It's just, I mean, I'm here in Japan. Come on, I have to. I have no real choice. So one of the main signature, one of the two signature features of this shoe is that heel going on there. Like I say, I'm not a huge fan of it. It reminds me of these because these came out in two different variants, and one of them, instead of having the Air down the bottom, had CHI for Chicago. Personally, I didn't like that. I preferred this Air one. I didn't try for the Chicago ones, but I wouldn't have got them anyway. You know, in Japan, you rarely get the rare shoes, but I prefer that. I'm a bit sort of old school. I prefer the Nike Air instead of the Nike CHI. So yeah, not a huge fan of what they're doing on the back of these guys here, but if it does have that Japanese writing on there, then that changes the whole game entirely. And then the other feature, I mean, they're calling it a denim shoe, so there must be denim on there somewhere, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, where's the denim on there? I don't see jeans. I see, you know, elephant print all over that guy, just like a standard 3. Now, looking at these guys here, maybe this panel right here is the best place to look. It's actually quite textured. You know, if you run your hand over it, you can feel the texture of the elephant print on there. But I think that's a bit lost on these guys here, and hopefully I'm zooming in effectively for you guys to be able to see how that material there is actually denim with the elephant print inked onto it, and because it's inked onto it, it's losing a bit of that sort of texture that you'd normally get from an elephant print as well, and to me that's actually a letdown as well. So the two major things on the shoe are actually the two things that I'm not a huge fan of. So to be honest, it's like I said it all last year when we were looking at the Air Jordan 4s for the 30th anniversary of the Air Jordan 4s. Like, there were many shoes throughout the year. I just like your standard kind of shoe, you know. I don't like them to play around with the shoe too much, and with these guys here, I think they've played around with it a little too much. And maybe if they'd gone with one or the other, you know, gone with that like kind of transparent heel, but then kept the rest of the shoe standard, or gone with that denim elephant print but kept the heel standard, then maybe it would have been okay, but the two together are just a little bit jarring for me. And then the rest of the shoe, a couple of little points to look at. Very white upper, of course that beautiful tumbled leather across a 3 in many different places is always one of my favourite things about them. And if we come around to the front and look at the tongue on there, you've got that sort of all white tongue with a red Jumpman on there. And also if you kind of trace it down a little bit along the lacing system, at the bottom of the lacing system you've got those 3 eyelets down there, and this time on that white upper in red gives a bit of contrast. And then finally if we flip them upside down, a very white outsole and a very red Jordan. I think these ones said Nike, yeah. These guys say Nike on them, but sometimes Therese say Jordan, as you can see here with these guys. I'm pretty sure it says Jordan. Hope I'm not wrong in that. So all in all, that's my take on this shoe. There's a lot going on in it, you know. The name is one thing, the 2 sort of major elements of the shoe is another, and then the colorway itself and the actual shoe. I mean, it's a 3, so it's got that kind of classic feel about it, so that's yes. And like I say, if it's got the Japanese Nike written on the back, that's an absolute deal breaker for me. So so let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking, if you're interested in this shoe, or if you took it the same way as me. Maybe you were the same and you were looking at thumbnails and thinking, yeah, not all that interested, but then, ooh, there's a lot more to this shoe than meets the eye. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a sneaker by its thumbnail. For now, time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content. Do truly appreciate it. It's hard work doing this every single day. Not too far away from 600 consecutive days, unbroken, not even a single day. I did take a holiday last year, but I front loaded the videos before I went away for about 5 days, so I you know, really stacked together 6 or 7 videos and had them run while I was out of the country and just scheduled them. So I haven't missed a single day so far. Fingers crossed we'll keep up with that. This video I'm shooting on Monday night. I think it's Wednesday's video, so I'm a couple of days ahead of the game right now, but that won't last, as you maybe know. For now, time to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, but you know what? I do this every single day, so that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.